ahead now and try and move your hand away. Really try. Put this hand around that wrist and really try and pull it away. The harder you try, the harder it pulls back and sticks to that head. Doesn't she look like she's having fun? In this week's Street Hypnosis tutorial, we're going to be talking about crafting suggestions, but giving people scope to experience what they want to experience, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, keep watching, you're going to find out. Hi there, my name is Taran Mirza. I'm a hypnotist and clinical hypnotherapist, and every week I show a little street hypnosis clip and then break that down in a tutorial fashion afterwards. So this week we have a girl that we've never seen before, and I start off as always for the first time with the induction and talking about the induction and then going through maybe the first skit. So you're going to see more videos from this girl because there's more skits to follow, but this week we've got the first skit and it's going to be fun. You're really going to enjoy this. Now there's some interesting things to pick up on, whether you're a hypnotist or just interested in hypnosis and the mind, on how suggestions are crafted and who's taking control. So stay tuned after the street hypnosis clip. Make sure you stay tuned because you'll find out lots of interesting information about hypnosis afterwards. Make sure you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, make sure you give it a like, and don't forget to click the big red subscribe button so you get notified. Click the bell notification button next to that subscribe button. And if you have any comments about this video or about hypnosis in general, I love to hear from you. I love answering your comments, so please leave a comment in the comment section below. But first, let's kick off with the street hypnosis clip. It's about 3-4 minutes long, and stay tuned afterwards to hear what I talk about. Thanks very much. Round of applause, guys. What about you now? What about you next?
Me?
Yes.
I'm scared, but...
okay. Good stuff. So, have you ever been hypnotized before? No. Why are you scared?
I don't know, just scared a bit.
Just scared a bit. So, you happy if this video goes on YouTube?
Yes, of course.
Good stuff. Okay. And your name is?
Camila.
Camila, look at your hand, look at the lines in your hand, pick one spot and one line, that's right. And you don't need to point to it, just look at that spot.
Okay.
And continue to stare at that spot without saying a thing. But notice how, as I push that hand towards your forehead, that's right, just allow that hand, and notice how that hand is drifting towards your forehead all by itself. That's right. There you go. And as your eyes change focus, just close your eyes down. Let that hand continue to float towards your forehead, knowing that you're already in hypnosis. That's right. Your legs will support you, your back will support you as that hand touches your forehead. You'll go sleep now, way down, deeper, deeper, deeper relaxed. The deeper you go, the more relaxed you feel. The more relaxed you feel, the deeper you go, drifting, sinking down, even deeper still. And as people walk past and you hear people talking in the background, that'll just help to absorb you into this wonderful feeling of hypnosis now. Now in a minute I'm going to count from 10 down 1. With every count I count, just allow yourself to go down even deeper inside. So 10, going deeper now. 9, even deeper still. So deep, so relaxed. Your legs and back support you perfectly as you stand there, going down deeper inside now. As your unconscious now takes you to a place that even I couldn't take you to. By the time I get to number 1, your unconscious will do everything suggestion I make. So 5, 4, 3, so deep, so relaxed, doubling that relaxation with every count. 2 and 1, so deep, so relaxed. In a minute I'm going to count from 1 to 3, and the count of 3 you can open your eyes, you'll be back with us. But every time I say the word sleep or deeper sleep, your head will drop down to your chest, your eyes will close, and you'll double this feeling of relaxation and hypnosis that you have right now. Nod your head that you understand. So 1, 2, 3, open your eyes. That wasn't too bad, was it?
No.
Sleep, way down, deeper, deeper, deeper relaxed. And 1, 2, 3, open your eyes and sleep now. Way down, so deep, so relaxed. In a minute I'm going to count from 1 to 3, and the count of 3, when you open your eyes, you're going to feel like your arm is a steel bar. You're going to feel like your arm is a steel bar, rock solid steel bar. You can clench your fist tight, 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 and get that feeling of that arm is just getting like a steel bar, stiff and rigid like a steel bar. The more you try and bend that arm, the more that arm just locks in position, locks into position. You will not be able to move it. So 1, 2, 3, open your eyes. Just having a good time? Go ahead and try and bend that hand. Really try.
Oh.
Stiffer and stiffer. The harder you try, the harder it sticks. The harder you try, the stiffer it becomes. You will not be able to bend that arm. What's that like?
It feels like something's pretty much just holding my arm, and I'm not...
That's right. And notice what happens. It's stiff and rigid, just like a steel bar. Locks in position, right even at the shoulder. So I try to push that down, it just pushes up. There you go. If I try to push down, locks and steady. Locks right to the shoulder. Notice as I try to push that down, it just locks and steady. Locks into position. Stiff and rigid. Stiff and rigid. Get getting stiffer and stiffer like a steel bar. Stiffer and stiffer like a steel bar. And if I try to push it down, it just bounces back up again. If I try to push it down, it just bounces up again. Getting harder to push down, bounces back up again. What's that feel like?
Weird.
It is weird. But notice what happens. In a moment, I'm going to click my fingers. When I click my fingers, that elbow will bend. When I click my fingers, that elbow will bend. It'll start to move towards your forehead. So 1, 2, 3. There you go. There you go. And that hand's going to move towards your forehead now. When that hand touches your forehead, it's just going to lock and stick in position. Lock and stick in position. It's like those fingers are glued to that head. You will not be able to move your hand away from your head. And the more you try to move that hand, the more the hand just locks into position. Go ahead now and try and move your hand away. Really try. Put this hand around that wrist and really try and pull it away. The harder you try, the harder it pulls back and sticks to that head. There you go. Put that hand around there. It's really try and it really sticks. It's like it's glued, locked and stuck, glued and cemented. Try and pull it away and it just sticks to that head. Try and the harder you try, the harder it pulls back. The harder you try, boom. And now that hand sticks to that wrist. Try and remove that hand and just find it's locked and stuck. That's right. Even the fingers stick, the hand sticks. Try and pull it apart. It's just locked and stuck.
Pull apart.
Try and pull it apart. It's just, you can't.
What are you doing there?
What's that like?
It feels like I'm trapped.
It does feel like a trap. And sleep now. Way down. Deeper, deeper, deeper relax. The deeper you go,
So welcome back. Wasn't that a lovely video? And lots to learn from that video. So it starts right from the beginning. And when I say right from the beginning, the very few seconds are me shaking hands and saying goodbye to the previous person. I was hypnotizing one of her friends. And this girl started off in the crowd. So right from the beginning, this is me right from the start. Often people ask me what was going on behind camera, off camera, before you start working with someone, and this is it right from the start. I just turn to the girl in the crowd and I say, what about you? Because I watched her watching me as I was hypnotizing the other girl, and she was very interested. You hear her on camera, she goes, oh, I'm scared. And there's a difference between being frightened and not wanting to be hypnotized and just being curious and want to try it but afraid of it, scared of it. And she was obviously the latter. I said, come on. And she comes forward. If she really didn't want it, she would object. I have had those people in the past where I select someone I think would be interested and she says, no. This girl comes forward, so I know she wants to be hypnotized. And bang, again, people often ask me, what happens off camera, but because you've seen this whole interaction finishing off one person and then turning to the other, you see there's no pre-talk off camera. There's no setup before the camera goes live. I'm just asking her to step forward. She steps forward and I say, what's your name? Straight into the induction, no pre-talk. I don't need a pre-talk because she's watched her friend and a previous friend being hypnotized, so she knows what's going on. She knows the routine, as it was, from seeing her friends. So I go straight into the induction and right away there's green flags to say this is going to be a good subject. I don't know until I start. That's the truth. People often again ask me, how do you pick out the good ones? I don't know. If someone wants to do it, I give it a go. So I do the hand to face induction and right away her hand comes and bang, touches her forehead and just freezes there. For many people, when they go into trance, their hand will relax and drop down, but her hand just cataleptically sticks to her head. I didn't make that suggestion, but that's a good positive sign that she's really going inward into the hypnotic state. Another good green flag is she's swaying a lot, and you can see me as I'm going through the deepener, counting down from 10 down to 1. I'm actually having to put my hands on her shoulders just to make sure she's steady. Now I've done the good practices of telling her, I'm not just telling her, it's not an information session, but I'm actually giving her the suggestion, your legs and back will support you. So I'm making sure that she knows that she can stand up. Once again, she's seen the other people doing it, so she already knows that, but it's good to reinforce that by saying your legs and back will support you. Despite that, she's getting very relaxed, and for some people get so relaxed they might actually fall, so it's important to keep your eyes on the person you're hypnotizing all the time. So I then move into the fractionization stage, and I tell her she's going to open her eyes, she's back with us, but every time I say the word sleep, she will drop back into hypnosis and go even deeper still. So I say 1, 2, 3, open your eyes and say, well, that wasn't too bad. It's almost as if nothing's happened and we're just entering on into a conversation. But as soon as she says nope, I go sleep, and she drops back in beautifully. Another very positive sign that she's in that hypnotic state. Now I've set up that almost a pattern, ready for a pattern interrupt. I've counted to 3, she's opened her eyes, and I've started to talk and then interrupted it. But this time, when I do the second fractionalization, I say 1, 2, 3, wide awake, and immediately go sleep, and again I'm dropping her back in. That is almost in itself a pattern interrupt to deepen the hypnotic state. From there, it's now time to move into the first skit. And the first skit, I'm going to tell her her arm is stiff and rigid, like there's a steel bar through it. Now, this is the importance of crafting suggestions, but you don't want to craft that long a suggestion, it gets dull and boring. So I could say and really tell her over and over again that her arm is stiff and rigid, and you won't be able to bend your elbow, you won't be able to bend your wrist, you won't be able to move at the shoulder. But I just tell her and leave it up to her imagination as to how she envisages a steel bar going through her arm. Now, the interesting thing is, my expectation is that she'll imagine a steel bar inside to the point where she can't bend her elbow, and her arm will go like this here. So when I say 1, 2, 3, wide awake, and her arm starts to bend, I'm going, oh, do I need to reinforce this suggestion? I'm staying calm, I'm not panicking, but it's not going the way I envisaged it. But still, she's having an experience because she verbalizes, wow, it's like something else is taking control of that hand, and she can't bend it. She can bend it a bit. So in her mind, she's envisaged a bit of maybe a steel ruler where you can bend it, but you can't totally bend it. And that's okay. This is where the lesson is from this video. It's about how to craft suggestions, but give them scope. Give them the freedom to do what they want to do, and be prepared for that. Now, when it starts to bend like that there, but she gives the feedback that something's going on, I know she's in hypnosis and has accepted the suggestion in the way she wants to. But I try to reinforce that suggestion. I know she's in that hypnotic state, but she's not, doing exactly what I want, so I reinforce it by saying, and that the more you try and bend that arm, the stiffer it gets. The more you try, the stiffer it gets. And that's a waking suggestion to give to her, and notice how it starts to get harder and harder to bend it the way she was bending it earlier. Once again, proof that the unconscious mind is picking up on these suggestions and doing what I'm now asking her to do, and giving her that direction, but giving her freedom to do it the way she wants to. She's in control. I always say this. I move on from that part of the skit to say, now notice how, just like as you would again with a steel ruler or something, if I push that down, it pops up again. Once again, I'm dynamically, without dropping her into a deep state of hypnosis, I'm dynamically giving her a new suggestion. And so it's taking time for that to pick up. At the start, she's moving her hand down and it's staying down, I say, but notice how it springs back up again. As I talk, as I continue to layer in that suggestion, make it clear the direction I want it to go in, all of a sudden it's bouncing up and she's going, wow, and look at her face. She's really staring at that hand, that fist, trying to say, what is going on with my arm? It's her doing it within her unconscious mind, but she's amazed by it all the same. Again, very strong positive signs. So I further expand on that and move on to a slightly different skit, but it's incorporating her arm. I'm saying, in a moment your elbow will bend. Okay, so after making it so that it won't bend, I say, now in a moment your elbow will bend, and that will move towards your forehead. Now I'm tapping on her hand with the idea that her hand will move towards her forehead. But again, I'm going to admit, we're all human, and I wasn't clear on that suggestion. As much as I pointed to her hand and tapped her hand, it wasn't clear that her hand would move towards her forehead. In fact, as you watch that video, her elbow bends, and it's almost as if her elbow is trying to touch her forehead. I see that very quickly. If you rewind, you'll notice that I jump in and say, your hand will now move towards your forehead. And as soon as I say that, it goes. Once again, I've given a generalization of what direction I want this skit to go in, and I say your hand will move to your forehead and it will stick to your forehead. Now my intention, and I've described that to other people, everyone's different, everyone's going to accept the suggestion in a different way, but generally a lot of people will do this here. So if they pull their hand away, their head will follow. Now she responds slightly differently in that her hand does come away, but as soon as she gets tired of it, it sort of zaps back onto her head. Now at one point she's doing that so much that I want to reinforce what her experience is. It doesn't matter that her head isn't following her hand. That's okay. She's having her own experience, and it's important to let her have that experience. She's accepted the suggestion the way she wanted to. That's fine. So at one point when her hand's out here, I think it's when she's holding her hand and she lets go and it goes back under her head, I go whoosh, like there's that magic force pulling her hand to her head. So I'm now running with her and allowing her to experience it the way she imagined it should be. And that's fine. That's her imagination. She's not done anything wrong. And I haven't done anything wrong. I described it well, but she's interpreted it in the way she wants to. I move on to say your hand, put your hand and try and pull it away, as I was saying there, she was doing that. Now, I then say that hand is stuck to that wrist. Now, once again, it's up to interpretation. What I meant is, or what my intention was that her hands and her fingers and her thumb were all locked and stuck to it. But what she did was she was, it's almost as if just her palm, which is her hand, the core of her hand was stuck to her wrist. So she couldn't she couldn't pull it away, but she was able to move her fingers. I don't panic. Once again, don't panic. If she hasn't picked it up the way I wanted to and it didn't look as dramatic, and even this looked dramatic and with effect for the onlookers, but I said, now your fingers stick. So again, I just move on and continue to direct and guide her so that her fingers are stuck to her wrist just as much. It gets to the point where she's stuck like this and she says, oh, I'm trapped. At that point, I think, well, we'll run the course on this. It's been 3 or 4 minutes and we've had fun with it and she's enjoyed the experience, so I just say sleep. And as soon as I sleep, I didn't have to tell her everything will relax, but she knows that. She relaxed back into that state of hypnosis. So I hope you got something out of that video. If you didn't, make sure you rewind and watch it again, having listened to the tutorial. It's important that you don't overlay the suggestions so much it gets boring, but if you give a general direction of things and it doesn't go the way you want, you need to steer it along, and sometimes different things will happen than you were expecting. And it's all right, because everyone thinks in a different way. You can't, hypnosis, not unlike what most people think, hypnosis is not mind reading, so you can never tell exactly how things are going to pan out. So I hope you liked that video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, make sure you give it a like, and don't forget, click that big red subscribe button and that bell notification button next to the subscribe button. And if you have any comments, leave them in the comments section below. I launch a new video every Sunday, so see you next Sunday. In the meantime, check out some of my own other videos, and I hope you have fun and enjoy yourself. Take care.